right, there she is. Got a set of rock sliders here from Westcott. About to get busy. Oh yeah, there they are. Sick. Nice. Look at these bad boys. I got the Tigs. Whoa. Well, it's gonna add some weight to her, but things are sweet. Well, it's looking pretty good. Nice coating. Yeah. Let's get them on. Yeah, it looks like a super simple install. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 little plastic covers to remove, and then in one bracket. And that's pretty much it. Okay, these are the tools I'm gonna start with. Let's do it. Okay, step 1, before shot. Okay, step 2 for putting on these Westcott sliders. Let's remove these little plastic pieces. 3 in the back, 1 on the front. Okay, so I found the easiest way to do this is just use my X-Acto just to kind of peek under it and get my flat head in there and then just wiggle it out. Okay, so we pop these 3 plastic pieces out in the back and just this 1 in the front. All right, and step 3 is to remove this bracket, which looks like it holds the emergency brake cable. And this is a 12 millimeter. Okay, so once you break this one free, just leave it hanging for now, and you'll slide the sliders up behind it. So these rock sliders are the first addition decided to put on our new runner. The reason why is we live in the Rocky Mountains. It's a lot of rocks, and I've already been up some kind of sketchy hills, and I was concerned about, I don't want to damage any of this unibody or this edge or the door. So I figure most important thing to do first is to protect that from rocks. You know, you're going over rocks with your wheels, and I might judge one a little wrong and it's a little bit too tall and the wheel goes down and then boom, rock right there. So we're not gonna have that. So yeah, you can see here how vulnerable this underside is away from the frame. So after looking at all the different sliders, I decided Westcott had the best design, the best look for what I'm going for. With some other nice looking ones too, but I like Westcott's the best. Okay, step 4 is to get your helper situated. For me, I don't have a helper today, so the box that the sliders shipped in looks like it works pretty good. Put a couple 2x4s underneath of it. I think that's gonna get me close enough for a helping hand. Now I'll just see if I can access the bolt holes good enough through here, and let's see how that goes. Okay, I got the driver's side on last night. Back at it again today on Saturday. I'm a little bit low, like 1/8 of an inch low in the back. So I think there's a technique to get these level. And one of my bolt holes is a little pinched off in the front. So I'm gonna try to loosen them all up and get this pivoted on the center bolt, push it up as high as I can, and level it, then get to the passenger side. Okay, let me save you some headache here. Make sure you put every single bolt in before you tighten them down, including the brake cable bolt, because I got all of the rock slider bolts in, torqued them down all nice and snug, all set, and then I was just gonna come back and put my brake bracket in. I believe you have to use one of the bolts that comes with the sliders, because this one doesn't seem like it's grabbing, so I think it's too short, the stock one. But also, I'm a little bit unable to get the bolt started because the bracket is just a little bit high. So basically I can't get the bolt threaded in there. So I'm gonna have to loosen them all up and drop it just a scotch just to get this brake bracket bolt in. Getting pretty hot. Had to pull up under the shade. Okay, side one is done. Got them on there. They're pretty level, I think. Looking pretty good. So I found the best thing to do was make sure all the bolts are in, every single one of them, including the bracket. And then tighten the center one first, which is kind of the pivot point. And then I just used a 2x4 and put it right on the edge of the plate bracket against the frame and here, and just lightly tapped it with my maul to make sure they're pushed up as high as they can go. Tighten them down to 1 or 2, push the front up the same way, tighten it down, and here we are, done. Okay, one thing that's gonna bother me is that it's kind of tilted, pushed back. So I think I'm gonna pull this off and see if I can oval out these mount holes a little bit and slide it back. So I'll try that next. Okay, I'll pop these off. I'm not even sure what they're for, but they look kind of cool. And they are a nice end cap for the sliders. It looks like I made a few marks because I need to just grind them back about 1/8 of an inch. And then they'll pop back in place and then move the holes back a little bit. Let's try that. Well, it'd be quicker if I get my Dremel tool out, but I'm just gonna hacksaw it. Just get that little edge off. Okay, just a couple little minor tweaks. Gouge it out with the drill, and it looks better. So they're nice and flat. It's a 10mm driver. Looks a little better. Could probably wire out those holes a little bit more, scoot it over more, but I'm gonna call that one done. All right, last look. Actually, I like this simple look with no sliders. Nice and clean, but you cannot deny the value of having that protection. And it doesn't look bad. I'd just rather not have them. Toyota could design it proper where that black strip on the bottom could be steel coming off the frame. That'd be a better way to go. And there is the fact that they stick out a little more, and when I'm reaching in, leaning in, now my knees and shins are gonna hit, but also gonna protect from rocks coming in on the side. So they're awesome. If you live in the Rocky Mountains, you gotta have the protection. So much cleaner without them, but that side's so vulnerable to rocks. If I lived on the sand dunes or something, I wouldn't have them. But we hit rock trails every weekend, so they're going on. All right, side 2's next. Here we go. Look at these things, man. Oh, I clocked them in at about 42 pounds each. So that means, what are we putting? 84 pounds on it. Adding more weight, but it's worth it. Okay, and the final step. A couple pictures and video of the after. She's all done. They look pretty good. I Thank you, Westcott Designs, for the pretty sweet design work. Beautiful welds. Went together super easy. Everything lined up good. Well done. Okay, so after putting these sliders on, I guess my only piece of advice would be to get all 12 bolts in, snug, back them off so the washers are a little bit loose and they jiggle. So the whole thing's just kind of hanging there, can slide around. And then start in the middle and push up in the middle, and then tighten down the middle lower bolt first, snug that up really good, and then start working up the front and the back as high as you can, and then tighten them all down. I did that on the other side and it worked out good. On this first side I got them all in except for the brake bracket bolt, and then I tightened down this one first, the front. Used that as kind of the pivot, and then worked the rest of the slider up and then tightened them all down. And in the end, it turned out I'm like an 1/8 of an inch too far back into this bracket. So not much, but so I had to trim the bracket up a little bit to get it to sit square. On this side, it worked out much better because I put them all in and I worked the middle up first, pushed the whole thing up, tightened the middle, made sure the front and the back were up, tightened it, and this one came out like perfect. That bracket right there. So yeah, that's it. Have fun. Cheers. Not too bad. It's done.